Hey, hey, hey. How is everybody tonight? We're a couple of minutes behind, but not too bad. How is everybody tonight? 12 people in here already. Wow. Let's see. Parker, hello. I'm first. Well, welcome, Parker. Glad you're first. Sophie, hello. Brandy, hello. Parker, hello. Kennard, hello. Let's see. Babe, maybe I forgot what. What are you talking about? How is everybody tonight? 17. Dang. Gaming with Leo. Let's see. History Kid, big fan. Awesome. Thank you so much. And it just jumped up to 67. Holy cow. Fox Starline is in the house. I haven't seen you in a while, man. How you doing? Let's see. Sailor, hello. Audrey, hello. Rail Fan, hello. Verna, hello. Okay, I might have to go ahead and turn on slow mode here in a minute, guys. Oh, wow, my hair's a little... I should have brushed my hair before this. How is everybody tonight? How is everybody? What's going on? Let's see. Mr. Titanic expert, can you make a video on the Taylor? It's on the list. For those of you who don't know, the Taylor is actually a ship that I've been taking some interest in lately. It was basically considered the White Star Line's first disaster. Holy cow, the chat is absolutely going insane. Okay, guys, slow mode is turning on right now. Bada bing, bada boom. All right, there we go. That is much better. I could not keep up with any of those questions. Holy cow, the chat was going absolutely insane. Let's see. Harry, bonjour. Bonjour, Harry. Let's see. Konnichiwa. Let's see. Mr. Titanic expert, thanks for reading. Goose, hi. What's the Discord, Sam? Go to my community page. There's a link to my Discord in there. That is the best place for that. Let's see. Daniel, thoughts on the Romandia Titanic? Oh, that's that Titanic ship in China. I've talked about that a few times before, that they're building a museum to basically recreate or rebuild the Titanic. And honestly, I think that's pretty cool. If they build it like, if they build it historically accurate to the original RMS Titanic, and they actually make it like a museum where you can walk around and tour it, I think that would be absolutely insanely cool. Maybe they would sell a model there where I can replace this one because the busted rudder and, well. If anybody's got a Titanic Honor and Glory 3D printed model like this and they're wanting to sell it, I could use a replacement. Let's see. Stuff. Hello, Sam. Thanks for your video earlier. Oh, I'm glad you guys liked it. Did you guys like the little video with Cora that I did earlier? Emily, update on Olympic Part 2. I'm going to start working on that video tomorrow. So Olympic Part 2 should probably release Wednesday evening. That's my best guess. Anything. Where is Rachel? Rachel is back in Ohio. Glamorous, any update on Nemi? I'm not familiar with that one. Let's see. Bree, why did... wait. Let's see. Oh, gosh. Let's see. DJ. Hi, Sam. Hi, Sam. Hi from Warrington. Awesome. Hello. Lee, I love that core video. Thank you so much. Let's see. Augustin. Hi, Sam. Did Murdoch actually order the engines to go full astern? They've talked about that before, and they don't think so. The author of On a Sea of Glass and all that, they all talked about that. And as far as what they can judge, it would make more sense for them to actually set the engines to stop, not go full speed astern, because that way there wouldn't be any kind of disruption in water flow over the ship's rudder. So, and I forget who said it. Maybe it was Lightoller. I can't remember, but there was somebody who came up to the bridge not long after the iceberg impact, and he said that the telegraphs were set to stop, not reverse. So let's see. Fox Starline, Sam, we would like to do a podcast with you again. That's awesome, man. Actually, I do remember you messaged me on Facebook about that. I am really sorry about replying. I see messages, I mean to reply to them, and then something happens. I get busy or distracted or whatever, and I forget to reply to messages. But yeah, just message me on Facebook, and we will talk about that. But sure, I would love to do a podcast again with you guys. That was a lot of fun. Ellie, nice, cool shirt. Awesome. Thank you so much. What do you think? Look pretty cool? Look pretty sharp? Shaken, not stirred. Like my 007 impression. Let's see, Christian. Hey, Sam, why did the RMS Olympic get scrapped? Because it was at the end of its life and they didn't have any use for it. And it was the middle of the Great Depression and people needed work. So that's why it got scrapped. You know, I mean, the scrapping of the RMS Olympic, as horrible and tragic as it is for us nowadays, you know, I mean, this is basically a majorly iconic liner. And I would love it if this ship was still around. But you have to think in the 1930s, the world was in the Great Depression, you know, and the Olympic was an old ship. It was retired, and vessels back then weren't thought of in the same way as they are now. Like, sure, here in 2021, the Olympic is an icon and we wish she was preserved. But in the 1930s, she was just an old ship, you know, and what's better, preserve an old ship or feed your family, you know, because the scrapping of the Olympic created jobs for 100,000 workers. So as much as I wish the Olympic was still around, I completely understand why it isn't. And honestly, at the time, I would have been happy for the work if I was trying to feed my family. So let's see. SRAM. Sam, did First Officer Murdoch die on Titanic? Yes, he did. But he did not commit suicide. At least I don't believe he did. Blue. Sam, do you think the Britannic Olympic class was originally going to be named Gigantic? I believe the White Star Line said that they did not intend for that to be the case. I don't think they ever intended the Britannic to be called Gigantic. But I believe there was some advertising pamphlets that actually said the ship was going to be called Gigantic. And then it was changed to Britannic. I believe there were some posters or something that was called Gigantic. If I'm wrong, let me know in the chat. But I'm pretty sure the White Star Line said they were never going to call it that. But there was some official documentation that said it was going to be called that. Let's see. Ghost Train. Hey, Sam, did you know that General Stockholm had a ship named a Grand Public? And hello from Pennsylvania. I did not. That's awesome. Let's see. Revoke. Let's see. Wait. Revoke. Have you ever wanted to visit Belfast? Love from Ireland, by the way. Yes, I have. And as soon as I can get traveling again, you better believe I'm coming to Belfast. As far as the next place on my list to places to visit, at least the next closest one, I really want to go visit Halifax. I really want to go to Halifax and visit all of that. But yeah. Unfortunately, I still can't cross the border. Let's see. Shaw, do a video on the Lake Freighter SS Buckeye. The SS Buckeye. I am not familiar with that. SS Buckeye. Let's take a look. See? SS Buckeye Lake. Great Lakes. That's not pulling up anything. I'll have to look it up. Let's see. Mr. Titanic. Sam, what if Titanic sank in World War I? It would all depend on how she went down, you know? It would all depend on what happened to it and what caused the circumstances. Let's see. Nerd. Hey, Sam, can you do a video on the story of the RMS Queen Elizabeth? It's on the list. I definitely want to do the Queen Elizabeth in the near future. I had a poll up between that and Queen Mary and a bunch of other ships, and Queen Mary won. So as soon as I'm done with the whole Olympic series, I'm going to start doing Queen Mary. Let's see. Unknown meme. Thoughts on the Titanic episode of Film Theory? I have not seen it. I'm not familiar with that. What is that? Let's see. Fox Starland, everyone, save the Queen Mary. Yes, we do need to save the Queen Mary. I'm not overly concerned about the Queen Mary as far as her being preserved. I think they will preserve her because she's become such an icon of Long Beach. But they need to take better care of her. But at the same time, I understand why they're having so much trouble with funding because those old liners, I mean, they're money wells. You know, they just suck up money. So, I mean, I get why they're having so much issues with it. My first super chat of the night. Thank you so much, Lounge. $5. Thank you so much. Me and my bro love your videos. Thanks so much. Sorry if it's too off topic. Can you motivate my little bro for his next workout by saying, Chris, remember the... Okay, wait. Chris, remember the leg drop? Okay. Go for that. I don't really understand where you're going with that, but okay. Motivate. Go for it. You've got this. Feel the burn. Let's see. Bree, how old are you? I am 29. I turn 30 next month. Let's see. Phoenix, Sam, have you heard of the SS Kenya and the SS Sultana? They were the worst ship disasters. The Kenya and the Sultana. I feel like I have heard that name before, but I need to do some research into them. But I will go ahead and make a note of those, and I will come back to them. Let's see. Sultana ship disaster. Okay. I will do that. I will take a look into that. Fox Starline. Just do it. Let's see. Maritime history. Sam, did you know that yesterday was the 103rd year since the Carpathia sank? Really? Let's see. When did the Carpathia sink? Let's see. June 17th, 1918. I had no idea. Wow. Yesterday was the anniversary of the sinking of the Carpathia. That's absolutely insane. Thanks for telling me. Steve Style. Hi, Sam. Hello. Shane, you're such a cool guy, man. Thanks, man. That's awesome. You're cool too. All of you guys are cool. You guys are awesome. Let's see. Graham, $5. Thank you so much, Graham. Sam, are you planning on ever going on the Queen Mary 2? Absolutely. I really want to do a transatlantic crossing. Whenever I go over to Europe, I'm actually planning, whenever I plan that trip, I want to come home by ocean liner. So I'm going to take a week and then just sail on the Queen Mary 2 and just do the transatlantic route. I think that would be so much fun. And honestly, it'll be really crazy because just to be out there in the water and like on night 4 or 5 or whatever time we start to pass the wreck of the Titanic, even though I won't see the Titanic, we're just sailing in the general area. It's just, that'd be really crazy to be around the area where the Titanic went down. Anybody who sails on the Atlantic route on the Queen Mary 2, you are passing the Titanic. I believe they go within 100 miles of the wreck. And that's just eerie and crazy to me that I'm like, right around here 100 years ago, or it's 109 years ago, this is where this happened. I get like that whenever I think about history. Like, I always picture what would it be like to be at this spot at that time when this event was happening. And we got another super chat from Meggie 10. Thank you so much. Hi, friend. I hope you will stay amazing. Thanks so much, Meggie. I hope you stay the same. I hope you stay amazing too. I'll be back in a bit making tea. Awesome. Tea is the best drink in the universe. I drink tea all the time. In fact, I have a cup of tea right here. And in case you guys are freaking out, don't worry. It is well away from my laptop. I will not make that mistake again. Let's see. Christopher, hey, Sam, can you do a video on the Moby Princess? There was only one survivor, a man who jumped off the ship. The Moby Princess. Moby Prince, not princess. Let's see. Moby Prince shipwreck or survivor. Let's see. The Moby Prince disaster. Good old Wikipedia. Let's see. Moby Prince disaster was a major maritime accident resulting in 140 deaths. It occurred in April 10th, 1991. What is it with April and shipwrecks in the harbor? It was the worst time in World War II, considered the worst environmental disaster in Italian history. I have never heard of this. Okay, that's going on the list. That is definitely something that I am going to look into. Thank you so much for the great idea, by the way. There we go. I don't know what it is with April and disasters, but it seems like all kinds of bad stuff happens in April. I don't know if you guys have seen the movie Interstellar. Awesome movie. It's like a spaceship movie where like the Earth can't support life anymore, so we have to go into space and find another home. That's one of my favorite movies of all time, Interstellar. Anyway, I was watching that this morning, and there's this crazy dust storm that moves in on the town where everybody lives. And they said, I believe that happened on the 15th of April. I'm like, 15th of it, just that small little reference. Like, yeah, we got this crazy once in 1,000-year dust storm that like did so much damage, and it was on the 15th of April. So I'm like, even in spaceship movies, the 15th of April is bad luck. Let's see. Lind, why is there icebergs in April? It was just that was a very, very cold month, but icebergs are usually around, but that April was an unusually cold month. That's why the icebergs were so far south. But yeah, next time you guys watch Interstellar, pay attention to that little detail. Let's see, Scott, Sam, where's the Carpathia video? It's on the list. I got to the, I'm working on the Olympic right now, so just be patient, and I will get to the Carpathia as soon as I can. Ramming time. Hey, Sam, do you think Titanic could have turned around the iceberg if the rudder was on the wait? All right, let me think about this. Hey, Sam, do you think Titanic could have turned around the iceberg if the rudder was on the bow of the ship? Also, why do ships have rudders on the stern and not the bow? It could help with... So you're saying you think the ship could have responded better if there was a rudder on the bow? It doesn't work like that. I mean, you got to have the rudder at the back so you can actually turn the ship, I mean, it's about the water flow and the current. If you had the rudder at the bow, it would actually create resistance, because the front of a ship is designed to slice through the water. If you had a rudder on the front and you tried to turn it, I don't even think the ship would turn. You would basically create like a barrier, and then the water flow would actually rip the rudder off if that was to be the case. Yeah, you have to have a rudder on the back so the water can go around it, not like, I mean, yeah, that wouldn't work. If the ship had the rudder at the front, the rudder would rip off in 2 seconds as soon as you try to pick up some speed. Oh, whoa, we got 2 super chats while I was talking. That's exactly what happens every single time. Let's get, what's that? Okay, got it. Okay, let's get to these super chats. Guy, $5. Thank you so much, Guy. Hi, Sam. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday to you, Guy. Thank you for the super chat. It's been a while, but I made it. Awesome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for amazing videos. Stay awesome. Thank you, Guy. Stay awesome, too. Gordon, $5. I found your Discord channel. I sent you an invite. Do the Hunley. Oh, the Hunley is on the list. Thank you so much, man. The Hunley is absolutely on the list. And thank you for the super chat. You guys are awesome. What's up with me tonight? I'm being a little like, I think I have like an Elvis thing going on. Thank you. Thank you very much. Let's see. Heather. Hello, Sam. Hello, Heather. How are you tonight? Fishy. Sam, can you do a video on the explosion of the Georgic? Explosion of the Georgic. Let's take a look at that. I'm not familiar with that. Explosion of the Georgic. See if that pulls anything up. Built in 1932, the Georgic served as a troop ship. On the 14th of July, 1941, while docked at Port Torque in Suez Canal, she was spotted by German aircraft. Interesting. I'm not familiar with this ship, but I will add that to the list. Thank you so much for the video idea. I swear I get so many video ideas from you guys. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Boom. Explosion of the Georgic. Got it. Boom, boom, boom. Heather, I'm your biggest fan. Awesome, Heather. Thank you so much. I really appreciate all the support. Carl, Chernobyl disaster happened in April. No, it didn't. No, it did not. It did not. Chernobyl disaster. When did that happen? That did not happen in April. Saturday, the 26th of April, 1986. What is up with April? I mean, April, shoot, what was it? April 15th. It was what, 2 or 3 years ago by now, but that was also the day that Notre Dame caught fire. I mean, I'm telling you guys, April is just a bad month. And one other thing that I learned, April 15th, 1912, the very first dictator of North Korea was born. Seriously, April is a cursed month. That's all I have to say. That's all I have to say. Maritime Enthusiast, where can I find his Discord? It's in my community page. Emily, April is disasters. Absolutely. CB Pung, the 3 Mile disaster happened in late March, just before April. Well, at least it didn't happen in April, but still, another disaster. I'm not familiar with the 3 Mile disaster. Let's take a look. 3 Mile, here it is. 3 Mile Island accident. Unit 2 reactor in Middleton partially melted down. Oh, it was a nuclear reaction, a nuclear power plant meltdown. Crazy. March 28th, 1979. That's pretty close to April, though, so I'd say it still counts. Let's see. Angel, I wonder how many people will actually get on Titanic 2 if it ever gets built. I don't know. I think it might do good initially, but I don't know about the long-term longevity of it. I mean, honestly, if they actually do build the Titanic 2, it's just going to be a modern-day cruise ship that looks like the Titanic, or ocean liner if it does transatlantic routes. But I mean, it won't be the Titanic. It might look like the Titanic on the outside, but inside will be a very different ship because, you know, if you rebuilt the Titanic today, no one would sail on it, and it wouldn't be legal to sail on it because the ship is very antiquated by today's standards. Extremely, extremely antiquated. Chris Nicholson, awesome. Thank you for the 5. Abraham Lincoln was also shot on April 15th. Oh, gosh, what is it with April? You know, I heard that. I didn't know. I knew he was shot in April, but I did not know it was April 15th. Hang on. When did Abraham Lincoln? April 15th, 1865. Yeah, I knew he died in April, but I did not know it was April 15th. Good grief. I mean, you know, I think April in general is a very unlucky month, but I think April 15th is a very unlucky day. April 14th, April 15th. Fox Starline, actually, he was shot on the 14th and died on the 15th. Similar deal, you know. The Titanic struck the iceberg on the 14th and sunk on the 15th. Let's see. Chorus, do you think you could make a video about all the objects that were taken from the Titanic? I've thought about that before, like talk about some of the expeditions and like the objects that were recovered from the wreck. Who was it? I saw a documentary recently. Was it Robert Ballard that did it? But they were talking about how there were all these people going to the wreck of the Titanic without going through official channels. and taking artifacts from the ship and selling them and stuff like that. I mean, anyway, hang on a second. No, I know who this. Yeah, it was Robert Ballard. It was Robert Ballard. Crazy stuff. Let's see. John 4, thank you so much. Do you know about the Celebrity Millennium? Celebrity Millennium. Not off the top of my head. Isn't Celebrity a cruise line? Celebrity Millennium. The Celebrity Millennium is a cruise ship operated by Celebrity Cruises. Yeah, I knew that Celebrity was a cruise line. She was the lead ship of her namesake. Did something happen to her, though? Did something happen to the Celebrity Millennium that I don't know about? Because it looks like it's still in service. It looks like an old ship, but it looks like it's still running. I'd have to look, though. Oh, let's see here. Drew, hey, Sam, can you do a video about the Grand Duchess Anastasia? You know, that would be very interesting. The Anastasia movie is one of my favorite movies from when I was a kid, but maybe I should do a video on that. Hang on a second here. I want to see, was there an accident with the Celebrity Millennium? It looks like there was a bunch of them. I need to do some more research on that, or maybe clarify a little bit more about what you meant by what you're looking for with the Celebrity. But thank you for the super chat, by the way. Cameron, $10. Thank you so much, Cameron. Oh, and thank you for the super chat again for the Millennium one. Hi, Sam. Love the vid with your sister. I was rolling on the floor laughing. Awesome, Cameron. Was the Britannic actually painted and furnished in the RMS config, or did it go directly to the HMHS config? As far as I know, I don't think she was ever equipped with anything for her RMS configuration. I believe she was finished and then sent in as a hospital ship. Maybe there would have been a few things put onto it initially, but they were taken off immediately after. But I know that some of her stuff was actually out there. Like some of her furnishings and stuff was completed and started to be put on, I think. I know that there are some hotels over in the UK that actually have some of the stuff from Britannic on there. But I don't know if anything actually made it to the ship. I feel like some did, but it was taken off. But I'm not 100% certain. I'd have to go and double check that. Does anybody in the chat know that? As I'm pretty sure that the Britannic never was furnished, but maybe some stuff was. But I'd have to double check. But as soon as she was done, she never entered service as a passenger liner. She was immediately turned into a hospital ship, and that's what she did for her life until she went down. But let me know in the chat if anything RMS made it onto that ship. See, Daniel 5, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. Oh, man, no question. You should have asked me a question, man. You do a super chat. I'd like to see a question. But thank you for the 5. Did anybody say anything? Backyard Garage, are you going to do the Hunley? Absolutely. I don't see anything on that, though. Okay. Oh, another super chat. Johan, $5. Thank you so much. It had a restaurant called the Olympic with some wood paneling. Was that put onto the ship, though? Was that actually put onto the Britannic before she was converted? Because I know a lot of her stuff actually, they took down a lot of her RMS, luxury furnishings to make way for the hospital ship. Let's see. Oh, hi, Charles. I don't know much about the Britannic. I get all my info from you. That's funny, Charles. Welcome back to the Discord, by the way. I haven't seen you in a while. Hang on a second, guys. I need a drink. Mocha is the best thing in the universe. Up there with tea, though. I like tea, too. Oh, and I don't know who told me this, but during some of my live streams, I've had a coughing problem. So it's like if I talk a lot, I just start coughing. And before this live stream, I actually I ate a spoonful of honey. And look, I'm not coughing. And just watch, I'm going to start coughing now. But yeah, whoever recommended that in the chat, that was a great idea. Thank you so much. Let's see. Christine, hey, Sam, could you do a segment on Pearl Harbor? There was a lot more going on inside of the harbor and outside the harbor with other ships than the Arizona. My step-grandfather ship was bombed. Really? That's crazy. Well, listen, thank you to your family for all their service. Pearl Harbor is definitely on my list of things to do. It's another one of those areas where I really want to go and visit the harbor and like document it, film there and everything and talk about it like that. But yes, Pearl Harbor is definitely something that I am going to cover. And I am going to talk about World War II in general. But yes, Pearl Harbor is definitely on the list. And that's crazy that your family was involved in that. I had a family member, and he was, well, we weren't related by blood, but he was like my grandfather, and he taught me violin, and I've talked about him before. I mean, I loved him like a grandfather. I knew him for 10 plus years. He taught me violin. I made sure to come and see him whenever I was in town if I had traveled. I mean, he taught me when I was a kid how to play. And anyway, he was on the Queen Mary during the Second World War. You know, he was on board the ship when it was a troop ship. And, you know, that's part of the reason why the Queen Mary is one of my favorite liners, because in a way I have my own distant connection to the ship. And he passed away a few years ago, but I was really happy to go and see the Queen Mary. And in a way, it was like I felt like it was bringing me back, like we were connecting again, you know. But he passed away a couple of years ago, and 96 years old, I believe. He lived a good, long life. Thomas, $10. Thank you so much, Thomas. No question. Come on, guys. If you're going to send me a donation, please ask a question. I love to support you guys, just like you guys are helping me out. So thank you so much. But thank you, Thomas. Let's see. 5 from Mergy. Thank you so much. I'm back. What did I miss? I'm having a sum and using my AIA crate restaurant teacup. Okay, that's awesome, man. Welcome to the live stream. We're all just here. We're all just hanging out. We're all just having fun, you know, just chilling, chilling out, hanging out, relaxing, all cool, shooting some b-ball outside of school. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is one of the best shows of all time, period. Thomas, $10. Thank you so much, Thomas. Did I miss any questions? I think I got them all. Yeah. Yes, I believe I got them all. Okay. Thomas, boom, boom, boom. Making sure I didn't miss any super chats. Boom. Okay. Let's see. Emma, Yellowstone supervolcano. Interesting. Very interesting. Make a video about Yellowstone. I was planning to go out to, I was wanting to head out and go visit Mount St. Helens in the near future. Tobia, may he rest in peace. Thank you so much, Tobia. That means a lot. NTRSA, cringe. What's wrong? Cringe? Seriously? Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is one of the best shows, and it has one of the best intros of all time. Uncle Phil! I love that show. The Carlton dance is funny. It's not unusual. Phantom 5. Thank you so much, Phantom. There we go. Okay. I heard the captain of the Costa Concordia crashed 2 times before. Do you know of these? I do not, but that would not surprise me. I mean, honestly, just from his personality and who he was, it wouldn't surprise me if there were other incidents. But no, I don't know that much about him outside the Costa Concordia disaster. But I may have to look into that a little bit and find out a little bit more about his history. But as far as I'm concerned, he is not a captain in my book. Any man who behaves as he does not deserve to have the term captain put beside their name. Captain Schettino is not a captain as far as I'm concerned. Not from the way he acted. Let's see. The Strange. Hey, Sam. Will you ever go to the Nomadic Museum? As soon as I can get to Belfast. Absolutely. Let's see, Bay. I would have donated, but I am broke. Can you make a video about the Orang Medan? Okay, Bay. Listen, don't worry about it, man. But I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate all your support, man. So, but the Orang Medan is definitely on the list. For those of you who don't know, the Orang Medan is it's kind of hit or miss if you believe the Orang Medan was real. But the Orang Medan was a freighter ship, and was it the Bermuda Triangle? I can't remember. But essentially what happened was they got a distress call from it. And then when they went and got aboard, they found that everybody on board was dead, but everybody's bodies were frozen in this semi-decomposed state. And they were frozen in weird positions like this, like they were shielding their faces or something. And then the rescue team went aboard, looked around, and then when they left, they were going to tow the ship. The ship randomly caught fire and exploded. Now, it all depends on if you believe the story or not, because it's up there with legend. But I believe there are some official government documents that talk about the Orang Medan. So it's up there with folklore, but it looks like there may be some elements of truth to it. It just depends on. But I do need to do some research into that. Let's see. The Bismarck is on the list. Let's see. Matthew, how much time do you think the Titanic needed to avoid the iceberg? I believe they saw it. I believe the Titanic, like from the moment they saw it to the moment of impact, I believe it was about 30 seconds or so. And I believe they saw it about a minute or so before, 30 seconds to a minute. And from the moment the ship started to turn It was roughly 30 seconds, give or take, maybe a minute. I don't know. But I know that they just barely grazed it. So if they would have had just maybe another 10 to 20 seconds, the ship may have just missed the berg, just missed it. But it was very close. It was very close. But it took a minute. You know, once they saw the berg and it came out of the mirage effect, it took a minute for the ship to begin to react to it. You know, it took a couple of seconds. But when Frederick Fleet called the bridge, and he said, you know, iceberg right ahead, the ship was already beginning to turn. So I think Murdoch actually saw the berg before Frederick Fleet did. That's my theory. And I mean, as far as the exact time frame between seeing it and impact, you know, it's open for debate, but I'd say it was within 30 seconds to a minute, and the ship just barely hit the berg. I mean, if they would have had another 10, 20 seconds of turning, the Titanic would have cleared it. So crazy stuff when you think about it. Let's see. Another super chat from Tree5. Thank you so much, Tree. I am making time out of future Disney vacation in October to go visit Titanic Museum in Orlando. That is thanks to your video. That's awesome, Tree. I really, really appreciate it, man. I'm glad you guys really liked my video of the Titanic Museum in Orlando. I need to go back there and just go say hi to all of them again. You know, maybe next time I go, I'll post a community page link or something. And if anybody's in the Orlando area, I'll let you guys know when I'll be around and y'all can come and say hi. It'd be really cool to meet some of you guys. Would you guys like it if I do that? Like make an announcement a little bit early before I actually go to the museum in Orlando? So maybe some people who live in that area can come and say hi. Let's see. We got another super chat. CB Punk, $10. Thank you so much, CB Punk. Hey, Sam, would you ever visit the wreck of the Britannic if given the opportunity? I think it'd be amazing, especially since the condition. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, wait. Yes, please. Okay. All right, I'll do that. Well, next time I go visit the museum, and honestly, I may or may not be in Florida in the very, very near future. So I may make an announcement about that very soon. But yes, I would absolutely adore to go see the actual wreck of the Britannic and go and visit the ship and go and just, I mean, there's just something about actually seeing a real oh man, that's, well, like the mass is broken, but there'd be something so cool about actually seeing an Olympic class ocean liner in person. And oh, that'd be so cool. But now going down and diving to it, that would be a challenge, that's for darn sure, because 400 feet's a long way, and you have to deal with the bends and all kinds of crazy stuff. So I'd have to get some training on it, but I would absolutely adore to do it someday. And just to actually say that I've been on the deck of an Olympic class model, that'd be so cool. Emily, rest in peace, massive model. Let's see. Belton, I love Britannic. I love Britannic too. Beyond history, can you do a video on the Big Four? Oh, the Big Four. Okay. All right, guys. In the chat, I want you guys to grade me here. Let me see if I get this right. The Big Four: the Baltic, the Adriatic, the Celtic, and the Cedric. Did I get those right? Did I get those right? In the chat, did I get those 4 ships right? I'm pretty sure I got those right. Did I get those right? Let me know in the chat. Did I get all the Big Fours right? The Baltic, the Adriatic, the Celtic, and the Cedric? Am I right? I'm waiting in the chat. We got another super chat from Matthew. Thank you so much, Matthew. Let's see. Yep. Yes, I think so. I think, but I'm not sure. Correct. Yes, you did. Okay. Boom. Awesome. I got it. Okay, let's get back to that. All right, let's get back to that super chat. There's like a 10-second delay from, it's really the weirdest thing. There's a 10-second delay from when I talk on here and when the chat responds when I ask you guys a question. Although when I go back and rewatch the live stream afterwards, there's no delay. So it's the weirdest thing. All right, let's go back to that super chat before I got distracted. Matthew, $5. Thank you so much, Matthew. Thank you very much. Do I have my? I don't. Okay. I appreciate you answering that. I have one more question. Do you think the Titanic could have survived if it hit the iceberg head on? I talked about that in one of my very old videos. Now, here's the thing to remember. It all depends on the speed of which the Titanic would hit the berg and the type of the iceberg itself, because there are many different types of icebergs out there. You know, there are some that are very rigid, very hard, very stable. And if the ship would have went into that, then it would basically just, the iceberg wouldn't move. You know, ice would fall onto the deck and everything, and it would basically force the ship to stop. And then there's other icebergs that are big, but very fragile. So if the Titanic hit, the whole iceberg could just split and crack and fall apart. There's a video on YouTube of some guys actually climbing an iceberg. And while they were standing on it, the whole thing just rolled over and fell on top of them. So here's the ultimate thing. It all depends on the type of berg and the speed at which the Titanic hit it. The type of iceberg that the Titanic hit that night, I don't think she would have survived. I think if the Titanic going 21 knots, because you have to remember how massive Titanic is, and also the speed at which the ship is going. So say my hand's the iceberg. If the Titanic was going at 21 knots and then just slammed into the berg at full speed, based on how much damage the berg did to the Titanic as a glancing blow on the starboard side, I think the Titanic would experience a massive structural collapse because everything inside the ship, number one, like furniture, people, whatever, all of them would go flying forward by the sudden stopping of the ship. And then also, I think the ship would have its structural beams could be compromised. I mean, honestly, I think the structural damage to Titanic would be absolutely beyond imagining, you know, if it would have hit the berg head on like that. So no, I don't think under those circumstances the ship would have survived. Now, if the ship was if the ship was going slower, maybe 5 knots, 10 knots, and she hit the berg head on, maybe she would have survived. But 21 knots, no, I definitely do not think so. All right, I got really off on a tangent there. All right, let's see. Temos5, thank you so much. Heading to Orlando Titanic Museum next week. Any advice, tips, easily missed artifacts to watch out for? Anything else? Keep up the good work. Ooh, let's see. Well, I didn't show everything in the museum in my last video, but there's a lot of cool stuff at that museum. I can't even begin to describe it all. But my absolute favorite part of that whole museum, as I showed in that video, was the bridge telegraph. You know, just to see the telegraph on the bridge and just see that, like, this is what Murdoch grabbed. You know, this is the actual item that Murdoch grabbed when he saw the iceberg and ordered the engines to stop. Like, that blew my mind. And there's also a room where they recreated the promenade deck where it actually simulates the sinking, and you can hear the band playing Near My God to Thee, and that's really cool. Honestly, that entire museum is incredible. But say hi to everybody there, and that's awesome, man, that you're going to be there. Let's see. And I may or may not be there in the next week and a half, 2 weeks. Just giving you guys a hint about the future. I'll make an announcement when I have the official day. But yeah, I may be back in the Orlando area before too long. Okay, let me see here. There was a couple more super chats, and I don't want to miss these. Blondin 20, thank you so much, Blondin. Okay, I have 2 scenarios. All right, scenario time. We are ready for scenarios. We're gonna do the research. We're gonna make these scenarios good. Let's get it done. Let's see. I have 2 scenarios. What if Titanic took the same amount of time to sink as the Andrea Doria? And what if Titanic had gantry davits like Britannic, but still sank in the same time? Okay, so what if Titanic took the same amount of time to sink as Andrea Doria? I know Andrea Doria took a long time to sink. Andrea Doria. Let's see, how long did Andrea Doria take to sink? I know it took a long time. 11 hours. Okay. So if Titanic took 11 hours to sink, then honestly, they could have launched the lifeboats, got them off, and then just pretend that this is Britannic, or just pretend my Britannic is the Carpathia. The Carpathia would have been able to come right up beside Titanic. Actually, I have a perfect idea. I know the perfect way to explain this. Okay, so let's take this and run it like that. Boom, just like that. Okay, so say this is Titanic, okay, and it's sinking very slowly, and pretend that this is the Carpathia. If the Carpathia got there, and pretend that my Nomadic is lifeboats. Basically, all they would have had to do, and this was the original intended purpose of lifeboats back then. The Carpathia would have steamed right up beside Titanic, and the lifeboats would have just, like, one lifeboat went to Carpathia, Carpathia would have sent a lifeboat to Titanic, and they just would have went back and forth, getting all the people they could off of the Titanic before she went down. That was the original intention of lifeboats back in those days, and that's basically what they did with the Republic disaster. The RMS Republic went down. I believe it took it, I forget the number, like 15 hours or something to sink, but that's what they did. They just used lifeboats and they zigzagged back and forth until they got all the people off of the Republic. Double check my numbers there. I knew it took the Republic a long time. I don't know if it was 15 hours or not, but double check that. How long did it take the Republic to sink, chat? And we got another super chat. Oh, gosh, I'm getting through these as fast as I can. And what if the Titanic had gantry davits like Britannic but sank in the same time? They would have definitely been able to get all the lifeboats off, no question. They would have definitely had time to get all the lifeboats off if the Titanic had the gantry davits. For those of you who don't know, the Britannic had these special electric davits called gantry davits, and they were basically like these big cranes that could pick. They were electric cranes that could pick up the lifeboats that were like stored on top of each other and actually lower them away bit by bit. It was a brand new lifeboat davit design, and it worked very well because they didn't start launching the lifeboats on Britannic until about 20 minutes after the mine went off and the ship started to sink. And Britannic only sunk in 55 minutes. And with those new davits, they were actually able to get all the lifeboats off. So if Titanic had those, you better believe they would have gotten them all off. Let's see. Augustine, 100. Thank you so much. And I'm sorry it took me a minute to get to your question, but I always read my super chats no matter what. So I try to get through as many questions as I can. Hi, Sam. Would you do a video on the ARA General Bargo? It was an Argentine battleship sunk by the British during the Falklands War, but before it was a U.S. Navy ship that served in World War I. Okay, let's take a look at this. I'm not familiar with this ship, but I do need to do some ships from other countries. Ships that aren't as well known, I am definitely interested in. Let's see. ARA General Bargo was an Argentine Navy light cruiser. Let's see. Fate, torpedoed and sunk on May 2nd, 1982. Very interesting. Well, hey, thank you so much for the super chat, and that is going on to my list right now, good sir. Thank you so much for that. Listen, you guys teach me just as much as you guys get from my videos. I get just as much from you guys. So seriously, thank you so much. But that is very interesting. Hang on, let me see here. So it was she was sunk on the 2nd of May, 1982 by the Royal Navy submarine Concord with a loss of 323 lives. Losses from the General Bargo totaled just over half, or what? Losses from this totaled just over half of Argentine's military deaths in the war. Seriously? Holy cow. I definitely need to research this a little bit more. Thank you so much for that. I'm definitely going to look into that. Let's see. There were some more super chats. Okay. Good grief. Okay, here we go. Where is it? What's happening here? Okay, there we go. All right, messed up for a sec. Okay, Nostalgic 10. Thank you so much, Nostalgic. Woohoo! It's known that welding was a relatively new technology when Titanic was made. How do you think Titanic would have been different if welded side planing, and how the damage would have differed? It's known that welding was a relatively new technology when Titanic was made. How do you think the Titanic would have been different if welded side planing, and how would the damage? Interesting. Well, that's actually a hard question for me to answer because I'm not an engineer like that, like as far as welding and riveting and stuff like that, I'm not an expert in that field. But to be perfectly honest, I think the damage with the type of steel the Titanic had, by today's standards, sure, the steel of the Titanic isn't as good. But at the time, the steel of the Titanic was very good. And honestly, with just how big the Titanic was and the scale of the impact, if we're only talking about a difference between rivets and welding, I really don't know. I really don't know how that would play out. I would think the damage would be similar. I would think that it would still, because I know the rivets popped and and the actual hull of the Titanic kind of buckled from the iceberg impact, but I don't know. I can't imagine welding under the same circumstances that the Titanic hit the berg. I can't imagine that playing out any differently, really. Maybe it wouldn't have been as bad with welding instead of rivets, but because you wouldn't have the rivets sticking out, but still. Yeah, I think I don't think there'd be that much of a difference, but I could be wrong. If anybody knows more, I'd love to hear more information on that. That's just me guessing. Let's see. But great question, by the way. Actually, I might need to research that. How would welding, if the Titanic had been welded together, how would the iceberg damage have played out? What do you guys think? Would that be a good video? Have me do some research on that? Okay. Stormy, $5. Thank you so much. Hello, new to your channel. Awesome. Welcome. So my apologies if this question has been asked before. Have you ever visited the Vegas Titanic exhibit? I have not. I have not visited the Titanic Museum in Vegas. I've never been to Vegas. I've flown over Vegas, but I have never been to Vegas. So that is absolutely something I would like to do some of these days and go and actually see that museum. That is definitely something I need to do. But that was a great question, and thank you so much for that. Wait a minute. Yeah, but thank you for the super chat, but I am definitely planning to go and visit Vegas as soon as I can because I do want to go visit that museum. Jonathan, $5. Thank you so much, Jonathan. I'm diving the Britannic for a planned e-dive in 2023. Really? We're working on the permit process with the local government. Jonathan, please join my Discord, man, because I would love to talk to you about that. I would absolutely love to talk to you about that. Please join my Discord because, shoot, listen, if it was even possible, I'd like to go and watch. But thank you so much. I would love to talk to you more about that. That's so cool that you're actually going to go see it. Lily, $5. Thank you so much. I watched a real-time sinking of Britannic in her final plunge. She reached quite a high angle. Why didn't she break in half? Andrew T. Great question. So here's the thing. You see, the Titanic broke in half due to stress on the hull and everything. But it all depends on how a ship goes down. And when Britannic went down, even though, yes, she did reach a high angle, it wasn't like, let me see if I can explain this the best way that I can. So when the Titanic was going down, there reached a point where the ship was kind of slowed down and sinking because the buoyancy of the stern was resisting the dead weight of the bow. So the ship was going up into an angle at basically right here. So as the bow was going down, the stern was rising up. Right along here, there's a natural weak spot. There's this, there's an air intake area right here in front of the third funnel. And it's theorized that right around here is where the ship broke. But as the bow went down and the stern rose up, there was a point where the water wasn't progressing that far into the stern anymore. And it was basically the stern was resisting the dead weight of the bow. So it was just slowly starting to come up without the stern sinking too much. And then you've also got the very heavy engines of the Titanic right here under or right behind the third funnel, which is also trying to keep the stern more level to the water, but the dead weight of the bow is trying to bring it up. So you have a dead weight bow going down. You've got the heavy engine in the back of the Titanic stern. You've also got the positive buoyancy of the stern. And then you've got the ship slowly climbing, and you've got this weak spot right here. So you've got this one little area, like right here in between my fingers, like this one little spot right here that is trying to hold the positively buoyancy stern and the dead weight of the bow together. I mean, it was just a massive structural failure right there at that spot. Now with Britannic, she didn't go down in the same way. She sank pretty unstably. So as she was going along, she was actually moving forward and sinking to starboard. And the more this Britannic went down, the more she actually began to roll over onto her starboard side. So the water really, there wasn't like a point of resistance with the Britannic like there was Titanic. You know, the water was kind of flowing everywhere, and the ship was just kind of rolling over as she went down. So it kind of reached a point where there wasn't like what's the right way to say it? Like the ship was already mostly on its side, and more part. I'm getting all tongue-tied here. So the Britannic didn't have that equilibrium. That's the best way I can describe it. So it's like the Britannic didn't have a center point where the positive stern and the dead weight of the bow were holding each other together. It was just kind of sinking on its side, and then water was progressing further and further back, and then the ship just kind of slid down. It didn't like bob at the surface for a while. I hope I'm explaining that clearly. I know I don't know if I'm explaining that well at all, but you get the idea. Whew. Okay, there we go. Hold on a second. Whoa, dang on. This is. I lost so many. I'm sorry, guys. Sorry for the quiet, but I got way ahead of there on the Britannic and stuff. Okay, there we go. Taylor, $5. If Titanic hadn't sunk, how much different do you think the sinking of Britannic would have played out? I don't think it would have made any difference, really. Well, actually, I take that back. The Britannic wouldn't have had the gantry davits. It wouldn't have had those new lifeboat davits. So maybe the sinking of the Britannic would have been worse as far as a loss of life, you know? I think that would have been worse. I think the Britannic would have been a lot worse if it didn't have the gantry davits. There's no way they could have gotten all the lifeboats off. And the Britannic wouldn't have had enough lifeboats for everybody on board because that was something that happened because of Titanic. So it would have been a lot worse. Wow, I got way ahead there. Okay, Blaine, $10. Hello from Point Pleasant, West Virginia. Holy cow, you're not too far from me. Video idea, maritime traditions. A U.S. Navy sailor, I got to take part in the crossing line shellback, along with being a plank owner of DDG98 Forrest Sherman. That's awesome. Oh, and hey, anytime I meet a member of the military, I always say thank you for your service. So thank you for your service. And I got to take part in the crossing a line of shellback along with being a plank owner in DDG98 Forrest Sherman. Huh. I'm not very familiar with that, but let's do a quick little Google. Let's see, DD98 Forrest Sherman. DD98 Forrest Sherman. It's a warship. USS Forrest Sherman, missile destroying United States Navy in a second. She is part of Destroyer Squadron. That's awesome, man. I might need to do a video about that. That's really cool. But hey, thank you so much for the super chat, and thank you so much for your service. Let's see. Asmund, 500. Thank you so much. 500 NOK. Awesome. Thank you so much. Good evening, Sam. Wonder if you're going to do some videos of polar expeditions. Keep up the great work. You are the best. Oh, wait. Did I miss a... I think I missed the super chat. Okay, let me get to Asmund's, and then I will move back as soon as I can. Let's see. Gerhard, you didn't answer my super chat. Okay, I will look for it. Good evening, Sam. Wonder if you're going to do some videos on the polar expeditions. Keep up the great work. You're the best. Thank you so much. Honestly, I would like to do that. Some of the great polar expeditions and all of that. Okay, you're fine. Okay, I do need to go and look up some videos on that stuff. There we go. But do some of the great polar expeditions and talk about, do maybe the North Pole, the Arctic Circle and stuff like that. Wasn't there a shipwreck they found in the Arctic not too long ago? And maybe up at the north, like the Drake's Passage and all that. That would be very interesting to go and take a look into all that stuff. Great idea, by the way. Let's see. Let's add that to the list. Take a look at Arctic expeditions, polar expeditions. Thank you for that super chat, and thank you for the absolutely great video idea, by the way. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. Random Means Daily 25. Thank you so much, Random. Hey, Sam, what if Titanic survived its maiden voyage, or if what if Titanic survived its maiden voyage, or if that's too simple for you, then what if it sunk by a torpedo from a German U-boat? Let's see. So if Titanic had survived its maiden voyage, it would just continue its career as a transatlantic ocean liner, going from Southampton to New York and Southampton. It would just do all that stuff, But if that's too simple, what if Titanic was sunk by a German U-boat torpedo? It would all depend on how, it doesn't matter what actually hit the ship. What matters is the amount of damage, just like the Lusitania, because the Lusitania got hit by a torpedo, it all depends on what damage is done to a vessel by a torpedo. And honestly, I don't think it was the torpedo that sunk yes, the torpedo did sink the Lusitania, but I think it was that secondary explosion that did the most damage, whatever that second explosion was. I tend to think it was weapons, just saying. Let's see. The Discord link is in my community page. Chipper's $10. Thank you so much, Chipper. Let's see. Wait, I just lost it. Where'd it go? Okay. Hi, Sam. First time catching you live. Awesome. Welcome. How do you think the Olympic or Britannic would have fared in the same incident after the changes were made to them? Also, how do we find your Discord? I just answered that. It's in my community page. But so as far as, let's see. How do you think Olympic or Britannic would have fared in the same incident after the changes were made to them? I think Olympic would have sunk. I think Olympic could not handle the iceberg damage. There's no question about that. But I do believe that Britannic could have survived because the Britannic was designed to handle the exact same amount of damage with the iceberg. Britannic could handle the first 6 compartments breached if the ship remained motionless and no other water could get in. So the Britannic could actually handle that much iceberg damage. But if the ship remained in motion, it couldn't handle that. But what doomed Britannic was the fact that the nursing staff on board had actually went around and opened up all the ship's porthole windows because it was hot steamship, whatever. So the ship was sailing along, the bow began to dip beneath the surface, and water got in through the porthole windows. So Olympic and Titanic, they would have sunk because the iceberg impact with Titanic was just absolutely astronomical, and it's extremely hard to even imagine it. But Britannic could have survived that kind of damage if it would have been in similar circumstances. Okay. I think we're finally starting to catch up with these super chats. Let's see. Ring, $5. Nice to meet you from Alberta. Hello, nice to meet you from West Virginia. Love your videos. Thanks, Ring. Love seeing another person who loves shipwrecks. You interested in the Bismarck, Carpathia, and the Yamato? Absolutely. The Bismarck is on the list, and I'm going to talk about that with the hood. The Carpathia is on the list, and Yamatos are definitely on the list. The Japanese battleships. I'm definitely interested in all that stuff. But thank you so much for the super chat. I believe there was another one. Okay, Blondin. What do you think the future of White Star Line would have had all three of the Olympic class survived? I think they would have been a major competition for the Cunard Line, you know. I think the Olympic class design, I think they would have done very well. You know, I think people wouldn't have minded to pay to wait the additional time to sail on them. And I think that they would have had a very long and successful career if all three ships were able to be used for the what they were intended for. You know, the Olympic class, unfortunately, its life was very much cut short. But we did get a taste of what it could be from what happened with the Olympic. You know, Thomas, $5. Thank you so much. Have you ever thought about doing a channel-sponsored cruise on the Queen Mary 2? That would be really cool. I haven't been approached by anybody wanting to do any kind of sponsorships or anything yet, but that would be extremely cool. If I would absolutely be interested. I would love to do that if I ever got that opportunity. That's for darn sure. Okay. Oh, wow. Did I actually catch up with all the super chats? Okay, we're good. Woohoo! Okay, let's see. Poyo, Sam, could you do a video on the power plant disaster at Chernobyl? Also, I have a theory who did commit suicide. Chief Officer Wild. He had recently lost his wife and had been depressed during the voyage. Really? Was he over in the area of... Yeah, Wild was on the port side, wasn't he? I don't know much about his actions that night, but I believe he was over there with Lightoller. And I feel like I did hear something that some people thought it might have been him. I need to do some more research into that, but that's very interesting. Very interesting stuff. Let's see. Ace, Historic Travels. Where did you get your models? From Titanic, Honor, and Glory. That's where they're all from. Let's see. Lee, if I'm not mistaken, the Celebrity Millennium has a restaurant that is called the RMS Olympic with her wood paneling. Really? Huh. I need to take a look into that. I definitely need to take a look into the... Oh, that was that ship that was mentioned earlier, wasn't it? RMS Millennium. Olympic. I'm doing a quick Google foo right now. Oh, no. Wait a minute. Here it is. The restaurant's gone, apparently. I recently discovered the Olympic restaurant on the Celebrity Millennium cruise ship with the original wood paneling that was on the Olympic was removed. So it was there, but they took it off. Holy cow. So it actually did have original paneling from the Olympic. I bet that's what that guy was talking about earlier. That's absolutely insane. Okay, guys, so we're coming up on the 1 hour mark, so I'm actually going to get ready to wrap up the live stream tonight. Would you guys like to see Rosie before I go? And would you guys like to see the, I'll answer a couple more questions. Was there any? I don't believe so. I believe we're good on that. But would you guys like to see Rosie before I call it good night? And I will answer a couple more questions before we conclude the live stream for today. Alfred, hello from Sweden. Hello. Melissa, can you do a video on the Eastland tragedy? It's already on the list. I will get to that. I will absolutely get to that. Let's see. Stephen, can you do the Edmund Fitzgerald? It's already on the list. I've already got the Edmund Fitzgerald. Ring Fitzmaster, did you hear, $2, thank you. Did you hear they found the Mushi, the sister ship of the Yamato? I did not. Hang on, let's see. Mushi, Japanese ship wreck. Battleship Mushi, sister ship of the Yamato. Battleship Mushi, here we go. Fate, sunk during the Battle of Lake Gulf on October 24th, 19... Oh, I didn't even know that they found this one. I didn't even know it sunk. Interesting. I'll definitely need to take a look into that a little bit. Let's see here. Okay, let's go and get Rosie. All right, let me see here. All right. There she is. All right, Rose. Everybody wanted to see you. I'm sorry if you woke up. She had a big walk today, so. Rosie, how's Rosie? Rosie, say hi to everybody. How is Rosie tonight? Rosie. All right, I know what you want. You want your jerky. I know exactly what you want. I'm sorry you got woken up. Let's give you, what do you think? I think that's a good piece. What do you think? Wrap that up. All right, Rosie. Say hi to everybody. All right, sit for me. Good girl. Can you do a little shake for me? Come on. Oh, are you tired? Okay, she's tired. Ready? 1, 2. Good job, Rosie. That's Rosie. She's an absolute baby. All right. Let's do 1 or 2 more questions, and then I'm going to go ahead and conclude the live stream for tonight, guys. Let's see. Anybody got any more questions? Everybody in here is talking about Rosie. Rosie is definitely one smart dog, and yes, she is a sweetie pie. Okay, Connor, do you think for the time that the Night to Remember sinking was accurate? I think A Night to Remember was very accurate for what they knew at the time. Because the guy, who directed A Night to Remember? I can't remember. But I know that Walter Lord actually talked to Titanic survivors. You know, I mean, the whole book is about testimony and with what they knew at the time. I don't really even now understand why they concluded the Titanic sunk in one piece, because there's so much testimony that said the Titanic broke. I think there was a little bit of a politics thing going on there. But I think A Night to Remember is very good based on what we knew at that time. I definitely do think that. Okay, one more question, guys, and then I'm going to conclude the live stream for tonight. But thank you guys for a great live stream. Freeman Fishing. Would the Titanic sink faster or slower if it didn't break? It would have sunk probably a little slower, but not much. So let's assume that the Titanic did more or less like it sunk similar to Britannic, you know, where the water flow was more throughout the actual wreck of the ship itself and not like just stuck in one point so the stern wouldn't climb so high. Because Britannic had water everywhere. That's why the ship was kind of rolling over. Like there was water on the starboard side of Britannic, so the ship did that roll. But if the Titanic didn't sink or didn't split in two, then I think that maybe, assuming it was similar circumstances, I think the ship would have just continued to slowly climb out of the water. And then slowly but surely, the bow would pull the stern down. And then once the engines went under, I think the stern would go absolutely completely vertical and then slowly just slip beneath the surface. That's what I think would happen. She probably would last maybe a little longer, but not much, because the ship would just be getting dragged down. But I do think the stern would have went completely vertical once the final plunge had begun. That's my theory anyway. Once the engines went under, because those were the center of mass to the ship, yeah, the ship would rise the ship would go straight up in the air at that point. All right, everybody. Well, hey, I'm going to conclude the live stream here. Thank you guys so much for being here tonight. One big difference, though. Next week, the live stream will not be Sunday at 7:30. Hang on. Yes, I got that one. But next week, the live stream will not be on Sunday at 7:30. It will be on Saturday at 7:30. So same time, just Saturday instead of Sunday. That'll be next week. But yeah, guys, thank you guys so much for being here. This was a ton of fun. Thank you guys for the incredible live stream. And yeah, guys, hey, keep doing what you guys are doing. You guys are awesome. Keep leaving video ideas in the comments section. If you guys want to come and check out the Discord, there's a link in my community page. And you guys are awesome. Just keep doing what you do. All right, everybody. Well, hey, thank you all so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good night, everybody, and thank you again.